Ian, ahead of our final road trip of the season away to Ayr, you'll have been taking stock of the squad situation, and I believe there's some team news for Saturday.
Yeah, but obviously we've been carrying light pretty much all the season, but it's got to the critical stage over the last sort of 5 to 6 weeks in particular. We go down to probably in our worst fashion that we've ever been in, but we go down there, we try and do a job, we do our best, we try and get something from the game. It'll be very difficult down there, a team going for the playoff position, a notoriously hard place to go, a really difficult surface as well, and as you say, we go down there very depleted on Saturday afternoon.
And are you able or willing to give us any details on the numbers?
Yeah, well, as I said, after last week's game, none of the boys that were out last week were returning, that's for sure, and that's still the same, so they won't be involved. And we add in our suspensions of Thomas Lang and Lewis Vaughan from last week's game as well, which doesn't help us at all. We pick up another injury at the end of this week as well, so we go down there at the moment, but probably one on the bench.
Okay, right, okay. I'll leave everyone to work out who that one could be, but so it doesn't, stating the obvious, it doesn't make it any easier when you have problems like that over the last number of weeks. Is that again, stupid question, frustration for you?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm trying to take the positives from, we've got enough points to be where we are. It'd be an absolute nightmare if we were going into games at the bottom end of the league, scrapping for points or trying to get in the playoffs or trying to go for the league title. You know, it'd be nigh on impossible. So the whole solace that we can take from it at the moment is we're the only team in the league that knows where we're going to finish this season. But we want to go and try and win every game. We want to win as many games as possible. Players want to get as many appearances as they can on their CV and play as much as they can, because that's what they're paid to do. So it'd be very difficult. Like I said, we've just picked up really a crazy amount of injuries, some contact, some muscle injuries as well, and if you add in, like I said, those 2 suspensions that we really didn't need, then it makes life very difficult.
Yeah, and over the course of the whole season, we don't want to bang on about it, but it has been a recurring theme in that your selection problems have been affected by injury. That'll be something that you'll be hoping and planning on changing for the new season. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, if we go into next season with the same problem, then we're doing something wrong. I do believe this season has been a lot of bad luck for the players. We also have to recognise 2 of those players that are suspended came back from cruciates as well. There was never a guarantee that they were going to play as many games or as many minutes as they have, so they've done fantastically well to get through it, especially Lewis over that last couple of weeks. We had 4 or 5 games inside the 14 days, and he's had to play pretty much all the minutes in that, so very difficult. But yeah, hugely frustrating for the players, supporters as well, you know, because as I say, you know, we take fans down there tomorrow and they're not going to get to see a first choice 11, that's for sure. But within that, then it gives other boys an opportunity to gain valuable game time, to get more experience on their CV, and like I say, we go down there expecting to get something, but we're not going to go down there and expecting to lick our wounds and feel sorry for ourselves. We never have done, and we won't do that. We go down there and we give a good account of ourselves, and we give it our full effort.
Yeah, and overall it'll give you an idea of what your squad's about, another idea of what your squad's about, and a clear picture of, you know, what's required from everyone at the club for the new season.
Yeah, I think when you look at the league at the moment, and you look at the top 5 in particular, and you look at their squad depth, and you look at the amount of bodies that they have, it's no surprise to me that that's the top 5 in the league. I always felt Inverness and Partick, who have had their injury problems this season as well, and when they had that, we saw a huge dip in form from them, and they've got their players back at the right time, pushing into those playoff positions. And you know, as I said, it's not a surprise for me to see that top 5, and you know, it could end like that as well in some sort of order. It's very tight up there. But yeah, it showed again. I thought last Saturday down at Morton, I felt with what we had on the bench and in the starting 11, I thought the players gave a fantastic account of themselves. Very easy for them to feel sorry for themselves after 5 minutes as well. But after the first 5-10 minutes, I felt we were by far the better team. Played some really good football. Should have came away with at least a point in the game. But look, it's done and dusted now. The biggest disappointment was those 2 red cards that we picked up, because I think everybody knows we're not a team that loses discipline. We're not a team who's overly physical, and we just got on the end of a couple of bad decisions.
Yeah, and referring to those 2 red cards, Any thoughts about appealing those decisions, or is it best to sign to the history bin?
You can't appeal because there were 2 yellows. There's nothing you can do. There was probably 2 bad tackles in the game. One was in the first 10-15 minutes on Ethan Ross, and the other one was on the free kick on Aidan Conley that led to Lewis Vaughan getting frustrated and receiving his second yellow. So I just felt the officiating in that game was over the top. Even if we look at that incident, we when I watched it back, we take the free kick 20-25 yards further forward from the actual incident because the referee's lost control of that moment. And we understand a young referee going into his first championship game, but at the end of the day you've got to look after your players and the football club, and we didn't get much protection.
Yeah. On a positive note, one thing that has been constant this season is the support you get from the stands, and again there at Morton, just over 100 people there travelled through. Great vocal backing. You'll be hoping for the same this weekend and in the future. Absolutely,
been excellent. Right from day one, and nothing more epitomised than last Saturday when they're standing there. They watched their team lose a game and they're clapping the boys off, because I've said it all along. Football supporters aren't daft. They're not silly. They know when there's been a lot of effort in the game, and they know sometimes when it's just not your day. The ball doesn't quite bounce for you. I've always said I'll be the first to criticise myself in the squad if I feel like we could have done any more within the game to try and win it. But I can count on one hand this season how many times that is. There's no doubt we'd like to have 1 more games and be further up the league, but again it shows what the areas we need to improve on next season in terms of the physical capabilities, also the mental capabilities and handling, going down to places like Morton and Somerset Park and see how we handle it. So I think we're getting to that stage now where, because bodies are so light and frustrations with that, we're looking towards that finishing line.
Yeah, well, in rounding off, we will talk to you in greater detail, I'm sure, over the close season when this proposed new investment is announced and materialises. But lots of positives to look forward to, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, of course. I think when you look at where we are in the league, with everything that's gone on this season, everything that went on last season, it's probably where we should be. It's probably where, not the worst position. It's not where we want to be at this moment in time, but the scope for improvement's huge. The players will come and go. That's always the case in a summer transfer window. But this year we'll be ahead of the game from where we were last season, where it was a real rush job trying to get ready for the League Cup. We'll have the boys in earlier than they were in last season for pre-season as well, to get them going and get ourselves ready for that League Cup. And as much as we want to pick up as much points at the tail end of this season, we can't be naive and think we're not looking a little bit with one eye to the next season, how we get the boys recovered and how we get the players we want signed up, how do we recruit better than we had last season, and learn from mistakes that we've all made, and then make next season a huge improvement.
Good. Looking forward to it already. Thanks for that and good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.